Courage under fire. What could that possibly mean? What is that synonymous with? What kind of behaviour do those words fit in with? What's the scenario? Welcome to Random Thoughts in Random Places, where we talk about human behaviour, the good, the bad, and the outright ugly. All of it. So let's get into the scenario. Courage under fire. What could I possibly mean by that? Most of you would have been in this situation and you wouldn't even know it. And this is one of the things that I want to get you to see, because courage under fire is synonymous with people who are in a real difficult place, but they're going to have to make choices. But rather than make those choices affect someone else, so it lightens the burden on them, they're going to make the choice that only affects them. And if that means they've just climbed a mountain and now they've had to go 2 steps back to go 3 steps forward, they're going to do that. More power to you, because what this does is it puts you in a really, really down energy. You don't feel great after this. No, who would? Of course you're not going to feel great, but you've done it anyway because you knew you had to do it in order to survive, to stay afloat, to stay on par. You know it's worth the effort and it's worth the sacrifice, and you don't make anyone else bear the brunt of that apart from you. You're what we're talking about today, because it can't just all be about the negatives, but it's being aware that you're doing a behavior that actually deserves a pat on the back when you get home. But because you feel so tired and so withdrawn from it all, you can't even enjoy the acts of your behavior. Because when you're someone that shows true courage, it means you are putting it on you, which is where it actually belongs. And because of that, this is where you get the advantages, because that's what we call learning. We are now going to have emotional intellect more than what you had before, because you went through that trial. You sacrificed all of those tribulations. You did that. You could have made a choice that someone else bared the brunt, but you didn't. You didn't, because you're moralistically and ethically sound. And that is a beautiful thing. And it goes unnoticed in society. And it really, really, really shouldn't. Because them kind of acts they're difficult in a society that tells you, it's a dog-eat-dog world. You've got to do what you've got to do. Just do it. Don't have a conscience. No, you do have a conscience. And that's a beautiful thing. And you should never, ever, ever, ever give that up. But society will really, really fight you on it to have any sort of moral grounds at all. And one of the things I find with human beings is that we don't like it when it's done to us, and we love to complain about it, but we have no qualms doing it to others. We can't keep doing this. Yeah, well, it's a dog-eat-dog world. I'm just going to spit and stamp on whoever I need to be, because you've got to do it. Nice people finish last. Wrong. All that does is fuels the societies and the neighborhoods that we already have now. The mistrust, the trepidation, the not wanting to help thy neighbor in all the right ways. And I'm not talking about being nosy and interfering. I'm talking about really, really understanding what it means to have peace in one's vicinity, what it means to have just that grace and tranquility in your neighborhood, where we know, I can be out and it's not going to be worried. I can go here and go there and I'm not going to have to watch my back. But sadly, we do. And one of the reasons what we do, because we want to get away from having to bear the brunt, having to be the one that makes the sacrifices, we tend to just find ways to avoid that. But all it does is makes for a really, really, really dodgy, mushy, grey society. And it's never going to go any further, and it will just get worse. And so to all of those people, for all of you that say, right, I'm not going to hurt someone else, I'm going to put it all on me, more power to you. You rise above. You might not feel it now, but you will be, because what you have just learnt there is going to give you freedom. It's going to give you release, because what's that term? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger? Absolutely. Physically stronger, mentally stronger, and emotionally stronger. And they're the things the elements that you really, really need, because in order to understand compassion, you will need to have emotional intellect. And to have emotional intellect, you need to have been through hardship. But one of those people that took it on board and didn't decide to go, oh, I need to shove it over there and shove it here. No, you took it on. You took it on because you're one brave, brave human being. And you might be going home now or at home and you're just feeling so crap. Yeah, you would be, because you kept the brunt on you. That's why you're feeling down, because you did the right thing. You did what you should do. And a lot of people in the society don't, my darlings. They are just quite happy to dump it on other people. Like that generational curse that we try to cut and sever. You'll always get that one person in the family that's going to be courageous enough and brave enough and moralistic enough to say, I need to stop that. I need to end that. It can't continue in my bloodline. But there has to be someone that's brave enough and strong enough to take that on in the first place, and to be aware and conscious enough to want to do that, because they can see the damage that it has done and is still doing. So people that make choices where only they are the victim are the most beautiful people, because you could have put it on someone else and you didn't. And yes, you're feeling tired and exhausted and sad, but what you did was a beautiful thing, and so you should feel happier. And that will come over time, my darlings, because the initial act itself, that moment is going to make you exhausted. You are going to be absolutely just tired right down to the bone. And I've been there, sweethearts. I know exactly how it feels, which is why I speak about these things, because it really was a courageous thing for you to do, especially when you're exhausted, especially when you're thinking, I don't know, I don't have a plan out of this, but I'm just going to go with it, and I'm going to adapt, and I'm going to learn, and I'm going to better. And what we don't realize is every time you go through these hard things, you are getting advantages and attributes. And the thing is to stop and notice what they are. You see, because you might think that you're on a constant loss, but you're actually not, my darlings. There is rewards for people like yourself and I, who really don't want to even imagine putting troubles on people who already have troubled lives, because society is a monster. So let's not pretend here. We are all living in very difficult times. And actually, in this TikTok group, in this TikTok community, I've been observing and listening to some stories about the cost of living. Now, that's been bad since my generation, before me, and before that, and before that. There's nothing new here. The idea is to squeeze everything out of people and just literally leave you for dead. That then encourages people to do bad things, because they just don't want to take the hardship and the burden anymore, because it's already hard enough. So people look to find where they can just dump it. Oh, I'll dump it here and dump it there. And that's the behavior that we don't want. And there are people out there that are doing that right now. And you can see people, friends, family beginning to move away from them, because they're the type of person that will not give a toss about their choices and how it's affecting everybody else. And it's about time it affected them, and it's about to. Hence why, keep your eye out for those kind of people that don't ever want to take any accountability or any responsibility for the choices that they make, and it always comes out on someone else. Hence why I wanted to talk about the people who don't do that, because it's not an easy thing to do, to stay decent and honourable and amicable in a society that constantly breeds just be a selfish git. And we don't want that, my darlings. So more power to you for this week, for those of you that have made choices that have ended up hurting you rather than somebody else. You are such a beautiful soul. And so what do the cards have to say today? What do the affirmation cards have to say? What does the universe want to tell you? Oops, for being such a strong, beautiful, kind-hearted, loving person that will only burden him or herself. Oops, there it is. I'll take that one. So, hold on, it's just coming to me. Your potential is endless, yeah. And the kinder you are, the decent you are, the more that will come through, because you will grow so strong in all the elements of where it matters. So keep staying strong and keep making good choices. And if you like my content, do like and subscribe. or do like and follow, should I say, and leave your comments and your experiences. And on that note, have a wonderful day. And as always, Jah love.